Our new episode is very exciting. We're here at California Science Center on a field trip today. This place is really cool. We've been here before, and the big exhibit right now going on is the Mummies of the World exhibition. And we're going to show what's happening in there later and have an interview. So definitely check it out.
Sometimes love is crazy, you don't get to choose. Two worlds can collide and it just breaks through. Don't even know why or what I should do. All I know is gravity is stronger with you. Remove the moon, just a little. We shook the earth and the ground. Remove the moon.
Don't miss this stunning display of real mummies. Experience the most magical and mythical and chillingly authentic exhibition of the year. A must-see. Mummies of the World.
Now open at the California Science Center.
All right. Hi, everyone. Today we're at California Science Center, and we had the honor to see the mummy exhibit, which was amazing. Diane, can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Oh, great. Yes, I'm Diane Perlov. I'm the Senior VP for Special Projects at the California Science Center.
And do you want to talk a little bit about the ongoing exhibit? I'll ask more detailed questions. I'm going to cheat if you don't mind. I have some questions I prepared for you.
Okay, great.
My first question is, what first inspired the California Science Center to bring Mummies of the World to Los Angeles? And what do you hope visitors emotionally take away from the experience?
Oh, yes. The California Science Center, we debuted Mummies of the World at the California Science Center in 2010. And then it went on to an international tour for 23 different museums in different countries. And now it's back in Los Angeles for its final venue before the tour ends and all of the mummies get returned to their 10 different museums in different parts of the world.
So you dedicated nearly 4 decades to advancing public understanding of science. What first sparked your curiosity about anthropology and the human story?
Oh, goodness. The person that first inspired me about anthropology, about Africa, actually, was my aunt. My aunt traveled to several African countries in the 1960s. And the 1960s and 70s were really exciting times on the continent. There were 34 different countries that gained their independence. And it was just really a wonderful time. And I'd been to Africa several times. I went to my junior year abroad in Ghana, which was wonderful, and went on various other trips. But it was really that first introduction from my aunt that really got me hooked.
Okay, that's a good story. That's good to know. And your research in northern Kenya must have been transformative. Was there a particular moment or experience that shifted how you see humanity or connection across cultures?
You know, my entire 2 years there in Kenya were very transformative. I had been to Africa before. I spent a year in Ghana, and I'd been to Kenya a couple times in preparing for my doctoral dissertation in anthropology. But the most transformative period was when I went there for my dissertation research. I worked in northern Kenya with a semi-pastoral nomadic community called the Samburu. They're distantly related to the Maasai. People know about the Maasai fairly well. But anyway, the entire 2 years was very transformative, from the very beginning through to the end. And I think one of the things that I was most impressed with was how your feelings and experiences change over the long term. You know, when you first come to a place, the first 3 months of anthropological research, you have it all figured out. You feel like you know the people, you know what's going on, and you just wonder, well, what am I going to do here for 2 years? And over time, over a long period of time, you just realize all that you don't know, and you realize the depth of a culture. And you start realizing, I mean, for me, for instance, I realized the depth of their knowledge about the world around them. And I realized about the incredible complexity of their socioeconomic system. And this was when the Samburu, it was a non-monetary society. They didn't use money. And yet, their economic system was so complex and so intricate, it was really something. And then I also realized over time the devotion that they had to their place, that they felt they were in the center of the world, and they were in the center of their world. And when you look at that type of depth of knowledge and complexity and love of place, I mean, this is something that is true of every community all around the world. And so you start to see them as sort of as this shared human experience wherever you go. That's what you find. And sometimes you overlook that when you first see a people and you're there for a short period of time, you tend to think you understand the traditions, and you don't realize that traditions change constantly. They constantly change. They constantly change, and sometimes what you're introduced with is kind of a performance of traditions, and it's not really the way rituals are really carried out. So it really is transformative.
Wonderful. Yeah, that really touched me what you said. It's different cultures and there's a richness and depth to it, but there's a shared human experience. Through exhibitions like Mummies of the World, you're inviting people to reflect on life, death, and legacy. In your view, how can science exhibitions help us connect more deeply to our shared humanity and sense of goodness?
You know, the Mummies of the World, I don't see the Mummies of the World exhibit being about life, death, and legacy. I see it as being about living today and living in ancient times. And the exhibit sort of shows that through science, which I think is really kind of brilliant. So we have our main science exhibits are the CT scans that we added to the mummies, because that was the condition upon which we took the exhibit to begin with, that we added the CT scans. So people see the mummy, but the mummy on the outside, you know, they all look similar, and you get no understanding of anything about the individual. And so with the CT scans, you're able to see beneath the surface, and you gain some insight into the history of human health, as well as the lived experience of the individuals. And when you see this indication when you see the lived experience, you'll see that some of them had, broken bones that self-healed. You'll see abscesses that must have been very painful. On one of the Egyptian mummies, there's a fracture of the lower vertebrae that must have been very painful. And when you see those things, all of a sudden, the mummies become human. You realize that they are real people. You empathize with them, and you identify with them. And you see that shared humanity. You see them in a richer way. The other thing that you see through the CT scans is they reveal the burial practices. So, for instance, we have the bundle mummies. And if you remember the bundle mummies, they're in the basket. This was in the Andes, in the Peruvian Andes. And these mummies were just, all you see is this mummy head and sticking out of a basket. And it looks like this person has been disregarded and just put in a basket. And that is so far from the truth. And when you look at the CT scan, you see that the mummy, the person was put, the mummification happened naturally in the environment. But the person, deceased person was put in a fetal position in the basket with the intent that he enter the next world the same way that he entered this world. And they have beautiful linens and cloths, textiles wrapped around him. There's food put in the basket to see him through the afterlife. There are amulets in there to protect him. And what strikes you is the care with which this person was buried, the care and respect they took with the deceased. In every mummy in that exhibit, you see the same thing. You see there was so much care given to the deceased. And that tells you something about how they regard people and how they want to see these people go on into the next life. And you see it regardless of the time period and regardless of the culture. And so at times like this, all of a sudden you see the humanity of a 2,000-year-old mummy, and you identify with them. It's very powerful.
Right.
And all of this is revealed really through the science. And if we didn't have the science that revealed all this, you would just be looking at the outside.
Very true. I remember seeing that one mummy had a broken feet, but he couldn't get it fixed. I think one feet was shorter than the other.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And it was so sad to see like a whole family. There was a father and wife and their kids, the babies, the kids. It's like really sad. And when I'm thinking right now, we just saw it before the interview, and I'm thinking, in million worlds, probably they haven't thought one day I'm going to die and people are going to come and look at my body like 100 years from now. It's really interesting. But without even knowing their purpose, they're serving a purpose. And by showing this, you're connecting people. It's very interesting. And most of it also scientific reasons, too. They had to do scientific research.
You see that with the Burns collection. The Burns collection are mummies, they're medical mummies from the early 1800s. And this was when it was hard to get, this was a professor of an early medical school. And it's hard to get cadavers in those days. The church controlled the cadavers. It was hard to get them for medical purposes, or even in Leonardo da Vinci's days, he wanted them for artistic purposes to understand the human body. But he invented his own method of mummification because he wanted, when he got a cadaver, he wanted it to last longer than one class period. And so it's really interesting to see a completely different method and different way of mummification. They look different than the other mummies. And he used them to be able to teach his students in medical school. And I keep thinking that if he were alive today, or if he were looking upon this from somewhere else, to know that these mummies continue to teach people 200 years later, I think he would be very proud. He just wanted them to last one semester at a time longer.
That's true. He exceeded his goal.
He exceeded his goal.
And also, let me look at my next question. The afterlife, I think that was also common in many cultures, how they put clothes and everything as if they're going to another place. It's like a journey.
Very much so.
The California Science Center creates experiences that educate and inspire across generations. With Mummies of the World, how do you approach designing exhibits that not only inform, but also spark empathy, curiosity, and reflection on life, mortality, and the legacy we leave behind? Depending on flow of the... Okay, that's it, morality and the legacy we leave behind. I'm curious when you're going to read me the book.
Oh, yes, that's right. That was the answer to the previous question. I can do it in regard to this one as well, actually.
Okay. What is she going to read?
It's about empathy. Yes,
okay,
yes. It's about shared humanity.
Okay.
But anyway, in this one, what's actually interesting about the scientific, how we show exhibits, yes, the CT scans in this mummy exhibit really is the vehicle that we use in order to stimulate people's curiosity, not only about the history of human health, but also about people's lived experiences. And one of the powerful examples of this is in the Egyptian gallery. And there we have Nesmin, who's a mummy, an ancient Egyptian priest from the Ptolemaic period, about over 2,100 years ago. And but we lacked the CT scan for this. So the Keck Hospital of USC was very generous, and they did the CT scan for us of these mummies using really advanced CT technology. And so you could see things. They did very, very fine layers, and so you could see things. You could see the eyelashes, you could see the eyes, you could see the lips, you could see things that you couldn't see in previous CT technology. One of the things they found was in Nesmin, they found a fracture, a compressed fracture of his lower vertebrae, but they also found a little hole in the spine right opposite that fracture, and it indicated sign of trepanation, which is that's the medical technique where you mainly see it in heads. People will drill a hole in the head to relieve pressure. And they drill it in different parts of the body with the idea of relieving pressure and relieving pain. Well, this one they felt was, they'd never seen it in an Egyptian mummy before, and it was directly opposite of the L2 vertebrae that was injured. And so if so, that would be the earliest sign of spinal surgery in ancient Egypt. And we show that through a hands-on 3D print, a model that people can touch and see and really sort of see where the hole lines up with the crushed vertebrae and all of that. And something like this really inspires people's curiosity, and it inspires their empathy for this person. They also know people that have had back pain and that have had surgery. And so this is one way of sort of that the science exhibits really demonstrate and evoke that sense of a shared humanity.
True. And it shows how much progress we made and how some problems have been going on centuries long.
Yes.
Still going on.
Yes.
But of course, we have much more advanced science and technology.
Yes, definitely. Awesome. And I can read a quote from my book. So the book is about, this is my book, Driving the Samburu Bride.
Oh, I'd love to read it.
Yes, actually I can gift you this book, actually.
Oh, thank you.
I take out this. And this is a book about, doing field work, but it's also a book about the Samburu and how they are, and the shared humanity that we have with people who are living very, very different lives than we're living. So this is a portion, this is at the end of the book, at the end of my 2 years study. And this is what I've learned after 2 years. When I left Samburu land after 2 years, I felt that I knew less than after my first 3 months. For the first 3 months, I had it all down and I knew what I was going to do. But things got more complex as you spend more time with people and you learn more. And it took me a long time when I came back home to sort through my notes and sort of be able to again see the forest for the trees. So this is what I wrote about at the end of my stay. While the differences in our lives broadened my view of the world, the similarities deepened it. There were times when our cultural and individual traits seemed to dissolve, when I stumbled on the familiar in the most unfamiliar setting, and I instinctively recognized an expression or a behavior we shared by virtue of our common nature. I saw these shared traits throughout my years in the Highlands. I saw them in the way Netumba's young wife bowed her head and cried softly when she saw her family again after her long illness. I saw them in the way neighbors immediately rushed to the aid of a junior elder when his house was on fire, in the joyful singing and joking of the warriors during the Ilmuget ceremony, and in the pride of Simon's mother, in the pride of Simon's mother's face when she welcomed me into her home and served sweet, milky chai. While many of the customs and regalia were strange, the underlying human condition of these moments resonated with me. I could see myself in them. They didn't seem odd or out of place. They seemed familiar. And when I reflected on my years in the Highlands, what I remembered most, beyond the recurring flies, false starts, and dead ends, was the patient generosity shown to this bumbling stranger, a shared humor born of bizarre misconceptions, and the poignant moments when people of vastly different circumstances understood each other perfectly.
Beautiful. Wow. I really would like to read the rest of the book. I will. No, keep that in there too. Keep that in there. I know where that
I'll show you where it is.
Thank you so much. I should get an autograph too then while I edit.
Yes, you can. I think you'll really enjoy it.
You read it very beautifully. Okay, let me ask a few more additional questions.
I think you'll enjoy this, and mention this on your podcast.
Of course, I will. It's part of it. In a world that moves so quickly today, what can ancient civilizations and preserved human stories teach us about life, legacy, and what it means to be human?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. Because we're able to, because we have these CT scans and we're able to look beneath the surface, people see the lived experiences of these people of the past. And for instance, in the ancient Egyptians, they see that they suffered from, a crushed vertebrae and broken ribs and missing teeth and all kinds of things things that we could identify with as something that would be a very painful experience. And so they empathize with these mummies are no longer mummies. They become real people to them, and they empathize with them. And you see that in the visitor's reaction. And for me, what that does is, if we can get people to see the humanity of a 2,000-year-old mummy, we can get people to see the humanity in the living of various different cultures and situations in the world today. So I think that's a very optimistic indication of what we're capable with as humans.
I think seeing common humanity is very, very important for the next level of awareness of humanity.
Yes.
It's going to make the whole difference in the world.
Yeah, it's very critical.
I mentioned it to you off record. I found this little book, which I'm loving very much by coincidence. And these little kids are going to Antarctica. They made it there before me. And they talk about they go there to find the secret of happiness, to save their friend Merlin, who has some grief. I'll just read little parts I like.
Yes.
So what are the happiness they found? Remember, Leonardo da Vinci told us the secret of happiness has to be available to everyone. It's a children's book, so language is way more simpler than your book. But alas, he seems to have found nothing but more grief. He will eat nothing he has not spoken for days. And then they find 4 happinesses, apparently. An old pond, a frog jumps in the sound of water. The secret of happiness for Basho was that he paid attention to small things in nature. So nature is one. Mm-hmm. And then they look at the angel picture of Leonardo da Vinci. And the secret of Leonardo's happiness was that he had great curiosity about everything. Angels, art, roses, feathers, flowers, flying. every day he felt happy when he learned something new. So curiosity. Third secret, we learned from an ocean scientist that secret of happiness, having compassion for all living things, from a tiny shell creature to a giant octopus. Compassion. So what do we have right now? Compassion, curiosity, nature. And what's the last one? They bring a little tiny penguin to them. But
gotta be
not
love.
everybody can have penguin because then it has to be for everyone. And then in the very end, the fourth secret turns out to be taking love, living care of one another can make one very happy. So that's it, like taking care of each other. I think this is for children's wisdom, but it's still very important, all these things. Having compassion, enjoying little things, nature, taking care of one another. So we come back to that.
No, kids come and run. Follow me.
People can also enhance that visit by seeing an IMAX film that we are currently showing on Mummies 3D, which is really a wonderful IMAX film. So they can see that as well.
Awesome. Yeah, we came to see the Antarctica in 3D before on IMAX. It was really great.
That's a really
I
good
want to
show.
see that too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Now, I'd like to tell our audience, definitely come to see this exhibit. It's wonderful. California Science Center is an amazing place. I mean, how hardworking people. They're here every day. And there's a lot of more interesting to see. Definitely bring your kids, bring your families, your friends, and see this exhibit before they run out in September.
A million lost souls, and I'm the queen of them, embracing misery like it's an old friend. Sometimes it feels like I love the pain, watching myself circling.
It's great to have you, Diane, and thank you so much for your book. You just wanted to read a little bit, now I want to have the whole book. And California Science Center is an amazing place, and the Mummy exhibit is great. We loved it. Can you tell our audience how they can come here, how they can attend the exhibit, any information you can give us?
Oh, great. Well, the California Science Center, we're open 7 days a week from 10 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. We're admission free, and we're only closed 3 days a year, Thanksgiving, Christmas Day, and New Year's Day. And for Mummies of the World, that's our special exhibition, and that's open, again, same thing, 10 to 5. There's a ticket charge for that exhibit, and you can get tickets at our box office or at our or online at californiasciencecenter.org. And that exhibit runs through September 7th, 2026. And we hope to see you at the Science Center. Remember, goodness will win, and we hope that you see the podcast.
Goodness will win.
Goodness will win.
Yes, definitely. It's worth to see this exhibit. Definitely come to California Science Center. It's amazing. The IMAX movies, the exhibits, everything. I really, really recommend it. I always see kids on field trips here. They're having the time of their lives, but adults are enjoying it too.
Yes,
It's enjoyable for everyone.
The whole family.
And our show is on YouTube, also on audio podcast, Apple, Spotify, and all other podcasts. And we also have a newsletter. Feel free to. We're all over social media as well. We are social media lovers on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. And that's all. Keep watching us and keep showing support for one another. Huh?
Do y'all say together? Search for goodness.
Let's do Goodness Will Win together.
Okay.
1, 3, 2, 1. Goodness will win. Keep watching, searching for goodness.
For a way out, caught inside this mousetrap. Told you I'm afflicted, I don't think you knew it. I'm so dark and twisted, can you call the healer?